In today's video, we're tinting grout. We'll go over 3 methods, but which one is right for you? So many colors, so many possibilities. We'll compare and decide. Let's get to it. Welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Julie. And on this channel, we talk about tips, tricks, tools, adhesives, materials, and specific mosaic projects, all to shorten your learning curve when it comes to creating mosaic art. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider subscribing. Having the ability to tint your grout or thin set is a luxury in the mosaics world. It allows you to create your own specific grout color without having to buy a bulk amount of it. Plus, this is especially helpful if you're working on a small project. In essence, being able to tint your grout will give you complete control of the end result of your mosaic. Now, grout is readily available. However, it's been my experience that the tile specialty stores have a better selection, a wider color selection, as well as they seem to be able to get their hands on specific colors more so than the larger big box hardware stores. But if you don't want to buy a large amount of a specific grout color, then tinting your grout is a great option, and it's very easy to do. There are some restrictions though when tinting your grout. Things such as, what if you don't mix up a large enough batch for your project? Yikes. You need to triple make sure you are mixing up enough grout or thin set for your project, or you need to go back to your high school home ec class and you need to take careful notes as you're going through the process. How much grout and water did you start with? How much colorant did you add in? You've got to make careful notes and create a recipe. This will allow you to recreate or closely recreate that specific color that you're looking for. Other restrictions include you don't have an infinite number of colors to choose from, and some of the methods, well, they don't produce really vibrant results as far as color is concerned, which might be okay if you're looking for a paler colored grout, something a little more subtle. But in today's video, we'll go over 3 methods to tint your grout. They are the most common methods, and we'll also discuss the pros and the cons of each. I'll include a list of the tints and grout below in the description so you can check it out. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. I'll be using white sanded grout for each of the 3 examples. However, you can also do this with unsanded grout and thinset mortar. Now, you don't have to start with white grout or thinset mortar. However, when you get a color guide that comes with your colorant or tint, it is starting you off assuming you're mixing in the colorant with white. You can certainly go with an off-white or an ivory or a beige, light gray, but understand that you are now in uncharted territory and you're going to need to get comfortable with a color wheel. And if you're tinting grout to get it to black, you can certainly start with a darker grout or thinset color to help you get to black quicker. Keep in mind with any of the methods I'm going to discuss today, the wet grout or thinset will dry to possibly 2 to 3 shades lighter. You'll also want to refer to the manufacturer's instructions that come with your grout or thinset mortar. And these are going to give you the grout or thinset to water ratio. And in the purpose of today's video, when you hear me talk about grout to water ratio, water equals liquid. So it could be a combination of water plus the colorant or tint. So that's what you need to keep in mind when you hear grout to water ratio. A general rule of thumb is that your grout to colorant ratio should be about 5 to 10%. For example, if you're mixing up 100 pounds of grout, your colorant should be 5 to 10 pounds of that. I realize these are big numbers, but you get the general idea. Another way to look at it, you shouldn't use more than 8 ounces of colorant to a gallon of grout or thinset. You'll see as I go through the 3 methods, it doesn't take much colorant or tint in order to change the grout. It takes very little. And obviously, the more pigmented the colorant or tint is, the less it takes. To get started, the first tint or method I'll use is called oxide. Oxides are powdered pigments for cement. Grout and thinset mortar are cement-based. To get started, you mix the dry grout or thinset with the powder oxide. I'm using a basic yellow oxide. Stir it up well, and then add a little bit of water. As I previously mentioned, you'll want to check the grout to water ratio on your package of grout or thinset mortar. It's better to add too little water and have to add a little more water than to add too much water and have to add more grout. There is a limit to how much oxide you can add before the grout is compromised and not usable. There's no odor at all with the oxide, but you do want to wear a dust mask, and protective eyewear might not be a bad idea either, since it'll be dusty initially. You can find oxides in smaller quantities so that you don't have to buy a bulk amount. Colors are limited though, but can be mixed together to create a new tint color. As you can see, the color is getting richer and vibrant. When I first mixed in the oxide, you could see that I didn't use very much to get to this vibrant of a color. I could always use less oxide to get a less vibrant color. Also, this package of oxide did not come with a color chart, so I needed to rely on information and experience I already had in order to successfully incorporate it into my grout. Give it one last stir and you're ready to grout. The second method to tint your grout is to use something called Tintsol. Tintsol is a liquid and comes in a tube like this. There are lots of great color options. And if you get a Tintsol sampler set like mine here, you'll also get this handy guide which helps you decide on a tint color and for you to see all of the color possibilities from each tube. Tintsol tubes are also available individually. To get started, I have less water than usual in my container, and this is because I'll be adding more liquid in a few minutes with the Tintsol. I don't want to water down my grout. So I'll mix up my white sanded grout to a little drier consistency than usual. And now I'll add just a little bit of some green Tintsol. And I'll stir it in thoroughly. See how it's turning a mint green? You should note that the Tintsol does have an odor, and it reminds me like a paint odor. And in my opinion, it's a bit strong. And just like with the oxides, there is a grout to water ratio that you need to keep in mind. You'll want to look at your package of grout to see what that ratio is. And there you have it, tinted grout with Tintsol. The third and final method to tint your grout is by using acrylic paint. Now, this is not the latex paint you used for the walls of your house. This paint you'll find at your local craft store, and it comes in a ton of colors. Now, a lot like the Tintsol method, I'll start with less water than I usually do because the acrylic paint is liquid. I'll get started once again by mixing up some white sanded grout. I'll mix the grout to a little drier consistency than usual. Now I'll add some bubblegum pink acrylic paint and stir it thoroughly. And just like the other two methods, there is a grout to water ratio that you need to keep in mind when adding acrylic paint. You'll want to refer to your grout's packaging to find out what the manufacturer suggests. The acrylic paint has very little, if any, odor. It mixes in nicely and gives a subtle hint of color to the grout. You're never really going to get vibrant grout color with this method. When using acrylic paint, you'll want to start with a darker version of the color you're looking for, and that's for two reasons. First, because not only will your grout dry lighter in color, but secondly, there's that grout to water ratio that you need to keep in mind. So you can only add in so much paint before you've compromised your grout and need to start over with a fresh batch. Give it one last stir and you're ready to grout. So we've gone over 3 methods to tint your grout or thin set. And mind you, there are other options out there. These are just the 3 most common in the industry. But you're probably wondering which one of these is best and which one is best suited for you and your project. I'll be honest, I much prefer using oxides. Despite the fact that the color choices are somewhat limited, I like the fact that I'm adding dry mix to my dry grout or thin set and then continuing on as usual adding liquid, whether it's water or a latex additive. I feel like it mixes in well and the grout texture and the end result are exactly as if I didn't add any colorant at all. And it comes out so vibrant. In other words, I feel like I'm able to keep to that grout to water ratio. But if you want easy and you want to use something that you probably already have in your home, then you would probably be happy using the acrylic paint. But again, it's going to give you a paler, more subtle grout color. As for the Tintsol, despite the fact that there are so many beautiful colors to choose from, I have a hard time getting past the odor of it and would much rather use oxides. Even if I have to blend a few colors, I'm going to get a vibrant result in my grout. So there you have it, 3 methods to tint your grout or thin set. Question of the day, let me know down in the comments which method you prefer to use to tint your grout or thin set, or do you use a different method that I didn't mention today? I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up as it really does help my channel, and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification so you never miss a single upload, and let me know in the comments if there's something you'd like me to cover in a future video. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey, it's a high of 71 today. You know I was going to break out a sweater today, right? High of 71 in Miami. Oh my goodness. Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Why can't I get this? I can't get this. Got it. Got it. We're just going to go boom, 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 boom. Now you don't have to... There's fuzz. I'm sure it's from the sweater. And that will get you, oh, I was doing so good. I was doing so good there. Oh, so good. Awesome, awesome. All right, all right, all right. That's probably not what you're wondering. And I just looked over there, and I shouldn't be looking over there because that is such a pet peeve. I'm not talking to the screen, I'm talking to you. You right there, I want to talk to you. Do it again. Nope. No, no, no. If you're looking for more mosaic inspiration, you can check out one of these two videos. Until then, see ya. We're done.